Hey everybody, it's WB. I'm finally making the time to getting around to making another video. Pleased to be with you again. Finally made time to go to the range once again today. So I wanted to run through that with you real quick. Today I took the Vepr AK-74 and the old trusty Ruger 1022, and I wanted to run through that with you a little bit, take a look at the guns and the targets. So starting with the Vepr, slightly modified here. We have got the, this is a AK-74 Vepr version. I believe it's the FM series. I'll annotate that on the screen below if I haven't already done that. And what we've got as far as modifications would be the little bird cage on the end. Drilled some little pick rails on each side, on either side for flashlight mounts. Bushnell TRS-25 red dot. I wanted to get that sighted in a little bit on the Vepr. Also have a fairly inexpensive, one of the older versions of the quick detach side mount. I put a, as you can see, a telescoping buttstock on it. Now this is a Mako version. I believe they have another brand name, but I think if you look for Mako, you can find it. What I like about it is it's very low profile and compact. You can actually slide your buttstock all the way up, so very little gap here, very nice slim profile, and works out pretty well. Don't know how heavy duty it is. It is all polymer. See, it's got the Mission First Tactical buttstock on the end there and a little sling for it. But anyway, I do like the adapter here for the buttstock. It is very lightweight. The Vepr is a pretty hefty little number, as many of you are probably familiar with. And again, it does lighten it up considerably, switching out the original polymer buttstock that came originally with all polymer furniture. And so it is a good replacement for that again. So I wanted to get that TRS sighted in, and we'll look at that in just a second. But also what I took was the trusty Ruger 1022. Now I believe this is a collector's edition model. I don't have my glasses on so I can't see, but I believe it is either an anniversary model or a collector's model. I'm not sure what the exact terminology is for it. I'll try to annotate that below as well. But again, this is what it looks like. It does come with a little Picatinny rail installed here with a rear peep sight, as opposed to your more traditional Ruger 1022 sights, with the rear sights sit up more in this area right here. When I was at the range, I sighted in this little UTG red-green dot. Once again, not a terribly expensive little dot. It comes as you see it. It's got the little flip-up covers on it. And again, this is about $30 or $40. I've run it on AK-47, 7.62 versions, also on 5.56 AK. But when I got the 1022 and it had the pick rail on it, I just thought it would be perfect to stick it on here. I've been very pleased with it since then. I did sight it in last time, took it back today, and we'll take a look at the targets in a minute, but it stayed sighted in very nicely and perfectly adequate for target shooting, maybe even small game hunting or even home defense if you were in a pinch. But again, even able to make good contact just with this little red dot. It's actually a red-green dot at 100 yards. No problem getting on paper with it. And we'll take a look at that in just a moment. So I'll roll in some shooting footage if I haven't already. But I do like to zero all my carbines in at a 25-meter zero. And typically what well, pretty broad range, but we're looking at 22 long rifle now since we added the 1022. We're looking at 5.45, 5.56, and 7.62. And again, basically I tend to zero everything in at the 25 meters, which equates to about 27 yards. I'm sure a lot of people would tell me reasons not to do that, but I like to just kind of remember the ballistics with a 25-meter zero and take that into consideration anytime we're making any kind of shots beyond 50 yards or so. But this is what we got on the 22 with the little red-green dot. This is 27 yards, so again, 25 meter, and this is basically rapid fire. If I remember correctly, I was doing some 2 low, 1 high drills, so you see a lot of rounds hitting roughly in the center. Low, fairly comparable group in the middle, and some up at the high end of the target as well. So again, that's 27 yards rapid fire. One thing I love about the 1022 is the ability to rapid fire. It's almost like you're shooting a silenced weapon. Let's take a look at the longer range. So at 50 yards and 100 yards, this is what we got. So this is the 100-yard hits are. The 100-yard hits are shown with this little line here, the diagonal line. So as you can see, I was holding the dot right in the center of the target, and I'm not sure how it's showing up here, but you'll see most of I didn't shoot a lot at the 100-yard mark. I just want to see if I could get on paper. Basically everything's hitting pretty close to center and down towards the bottom of the target. I didn't remember the ballistics for a 25-meter 22 long rifle. I was trying to remember it. But this kind of jives with that. I looked it up when I got back, and again, holding center of the target with the dot, they're saying at 100 yards, you're looking at about between a 4 and 5 inch drop. So that roughly corresponds to where we're hitting at the 100-yard mark. So the 50-yard hits, more or less rapid fire with the red-green dot, and you can see those are all pretty much center mass. Everything with the circle is the 50-yard hits, and again, pretty close to center mass on that rapid fire. Love shooting that little 1022 rapid fire. It's just so much fun, and it doesn't cost you a fortune in ammo. All right, so let's take a look at what the Vepr did. All right, so the first thing we did with the Vepr is I just wanted to check the iron sights. I remember I had zeroed them in previously, but I just wanted to see where they were hitting at 25 yards. I don't know what it is, but today especially, just had a hard time with the sights, with the iron sights on the Vepr. They're very good sights, but they're just so thin, and it was difficult really to distinguish the front sight from the rear sights. But we were looking a little bit high and just a little bit over, I guess, to the left. But I didn't spend a lot of time with the iron sights. It was close enough to not have to adjust them. In other words, to spend a lot of time fooling around with it. I spent enough time just getting the red dot sighted in. But let's take a look at those rear sights real quick. And I guess it's not going to show up on the camera too well, especially with this red dot on here. I can't really get it at the right angle. But the rear sights on the Vepr are adjustable for windage, unlike most traditional AK sights. But again, it's not showing up here, but just very difficult to see just such a tiny little slot in this rear sight here. So here's what we did on zeroing in the red dot. Okay, so the first, let's see, first group is here. Okay. So aiming at this target here with the TRS 25 red dot, just trying to zero it in. First group hits way up here. Second group, after adjusting it, is hitting right about here. Adjusted it again. Obviously, I did something wrong, and we end up over here on the third group. Fourth group is here somewhere. I believe this is it right here. Fourth group, but the fifth group right here was pretty much right on the money, right in the center of the target. So that's 25-meter sight in with the TRS 25. Took me, maybe 20-25 rounds to get it sighted in. Here's what we're looking at on the Vepr at the 50 and 100-yard marks. At the 50-yard, the hits are designated by the slanted lines through the hits there. And I was doing some fairly rapid fire at 50 yards. Again, this is all with the red dot. And doing two low, one high if I remember correctly. So that's where we're hitting. Hit several center head hits there, and a good number of shoulder hits as well. So I might need to bring those down a little bit. But again, I think that a number of these were rapid fire strings. And also we have the 100-yard hits indicated with the hits being circled. So at 100 yards with the red dot, we're able to get on paper pretty well without tinkering around with it too much. It looks like they're hitting a little bit high. I don't remember if I was holding center mass or not. I think that I was aiming low, aiming towards the bottom of the target, in other words, at the 100 yards. Just with what I remember about the ballistics, with the 25-meter zero, you're going to be several inches high with 223, 545, but they should be very similar to the 223. So that's what we had on that. And again, not a huge investment in the optics, but for any typical purposes, these are perfectly suitable. And the two that I'd use today were under $100 for the pair of them. So pretty pleased with it. Had a good time at the range today. Been way too long since I got out there. Every time I make it to the range, I wonder why it's taking me so long to get there. But saw a lot of people there. This is a few days after the Las Vegas attack, and just a lot of people there enjoying their Second Amendment rights as a United States citizen. People of all shapes, sizes, colors, genders, just being respectful of one another, working on their skills, and again exercising the rights that are seemingly pretty rare in the world today. And we may be on the way out as far as having those rights, and We'll see how it goes, but enjoy your rights while you have them. Work to preserve them, and be thankful for your fellow law-abiding citizens that are just good people, working hard every day, trying to make a living, and be decent people, and take care of their family, and treat their neighbors and friends well. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will look forward to seeing you again on the next video.